Broadcasting live from somewhere in the great upper Midwest and beaming directly to you worldwide. This is Night Talks Radio. Streaming to you live from Spreaker.com and somewhere deep in the great upper Midwest. If you're ready for a ride, you can call NTR anytime by dialing the nationwide caller line at 1-507-384-9390. First-time callers can reach Night Talks Radio at 1-507-307-4424. Text Daniel and NTR exclusively at 1-218-689-7126. Now, from somewhere in the great upper Midwest, here's your hosts, Daniel Brewer and Jennifer Gregerson.
Hello, everybody out there in the great upper Midwest. This is your host, Daniel Brewer, Night Talks Radio. We're back with you September 24th, Saturday night. And as always, sitting next to me is the wonderful, beautiful co-host, Jennifer Gregerson. Jennifer, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful night.
You know, I do too. You know what? We survived September 24th. So far.
We did.
So far. You know, maybe a chain reaction of sorts started today that we're just not aware of. That could maybe not take place. We don't know about it until like Monday or Tuesday, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, I'm not quite sure on that. I mean, there is...
Well, what about the solar activity?
Okay, so what's going on is that we've got a couple of things that could take place. There was a solar flare that actually shot out from the moon, or not moon, from the sun,
the moon.
Excuse me,
if
night.
It was the moon, we'd be pretty fucked.
Right. No, it shot out from the sun last night, and they're calling it an M1 class flare. And
M1 class? And
M1.
then don't forget about the K.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's M1 class flare. And they say that it's turning towards Earth. And it could come anytime from tomorrow to next week. And they are classifying it now as a K.
Yeah, a K4,
actually.
K4,
yes.
So second to highest, I do believe, of the K class. But, yeah, so who knows? That could be it.
But
a day to remember, you know.
Yeah, but let's not forget Monday when DART is supposed to crash into that asteroid.
True.
As well.
True. Yeah, so I don't know. All I know is that we're still here, thankfully.
Yes, and let's
we get
hope and pray.
We get to still deal with bills and you know.
Well,
no money.
That's
and,
life. But the best thing is we get
all
to
that
be
fun stuff.
We get to be on air and talk to our wonderful guests and our wonderful listeners.
That is true. That's why we're here on Night Talks Radio live Saturday night. And guess who we have with us this evening? Do you have an idea?
I think it's Joe Chase.
That is correct. It is Mr. Joe Chase. And let's talk to him right now, as a matter of fact. Joe, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here, Daniel. How are you today, sir?
I am doing wonderful. As we were just speaking about, we survived the 24th. Apparently the Earth was supposed to be devastated in some sort of manner today, but I think we've escaped it. I think we made it by. Now, the Mountain Time people and the Pacific Coast, and now, going Alaska and Hawaii and whatnot, they still could be in danger.
Yeah, they could.
Okay,
They could.
but I think we've made it through.
Yes.
Because it is now officially the 25th on the East Coast and Central Time.
Right, and the interesting thing about the whole entire thing with the sun and that flare that came out,
which a flare did come out.
I mean,
that is kind of interesting.
Yes, it came out and it's hurling towards, space right now, but it could turn towards Earth is what they're saying.
It could. So, again, he said a day to remember. So, the day the sun shot out the devastating, solar flare that's going to, slam into us on Monday, like I said.
Maybe.
Is
But,
that
here's the interesting thing about it. I think we're going to be safe. And the reason why
is that?
Is because this was number 111 flare. Or not flare, but actually
111th
sunspot that came out of the sun. Yes.
Okay.
So,
CME that came out of the sun.
Yep,
okay,
CME.
Gotcha.
So the 111, as you all know, is an angel number. Why do we say make a wish at 11:11?
Well, yeah, that's 11:11. You're saying 111.
111.
Yeah, okay, I guess you could, whatever.
All of them is the angel's number.
Gotcha.
So I think that we're actually going to be safe.
Well, you know why we're going to be...
That's my theory.
You know why we're going to be safe?
Why?
Because we have Joe Chase on our side.
Yes, Joe Chase.
Joe?
He's going to protect us.
Joe is going to protect everybody, including me and you. Joe, for the new people that have undoubtedly joined the show, that are now fans and listeners, could you briefly go over the events that have taken place in your life since we last had you, I believe, episode 3, more than a month and a half ago?
Yes.
Somebody might need to be filled in.
And along with what you do and maybe where you're from.
There you go. Just all the basic stuff, so to speak.
Oh, okay, sure. So,
we'll just sit back and listen.
To do a recap.
Yeah, we'll do a recap. There you go.
Yeah, I'll do a quick recap. So I grew up in New Brunswick, Canada.
Okay.
And from an early age, I had weird interactions, daydreams, visions, sort of communications. I didn't understand it all when I was really young.
Right.
It, passed it off in my teens, just passed it off as daydreams, kid stuff, and thought nothing of it. But fast forward to 5 years ago in 2017, I had a very profound experience where I was contacted by what I called at the time God. I still call them God.
Okay.
Creator gods. And I received downloads of information. I was in communication via telepathy every night for about 3 weeks or so. Every night I was talking to these beings. And at first, I was just calling them God and angels to people until I started making the connection that these are actually physical beings communicating with me. Then I had confirmation of that from them, where they revealed themselves to me.
Okay.
That happened several that happened several times. Not seeing them in person. I did have an experience that scared the crap out of me.
Oh.
But I've seen them in the sky several times. Twice was witnessed with one of my brothers. He saw me communicating with them and them showing up, and so and it was just a very biblical, very profound experience.
Something that definitely changed
your life
perhaps how you view things, including your life, yes. The way you may look at the future, the present, even the past. Just a life-changing event, so to speak.
And maybe even look at who you are?
Yes, absolutely. So right now, currently, a lot of people wonder about the metaphysical world and its existence. When we're talking about our souls, this is still a question of humanity. Do we have souls? Is there life after death? Is there life?
Right, the famous question.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll say this. The metaphysical world is very, very much real. This was part of the download of information I received. This knowledge that was imparted to me, it was showing me about dimensions and about frequencies and how this perceived reality actually is, and how we're actually only perceiving a small portion of what's actually there.
Let me ask a question real quick. Was this information, was it was presented to you or downloaded to you, so to speak, directly to you? It was meant for you. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's it was actually kind of weird. The way the whole event happened, it left me feeling my intuition. It almost said to me like they were waiting for me to contact them.
They were waiting for you.
If that makes sense, it's like they were expecting me at some point in my life to contact them.
So there was obviously something unique and special about you that perhaps you didn't know before this period in 2017.
Yeah, well, so something I'll share with people, and
okay.
People can take it or leave it as it is. It doesn't really matter to me.
Right.
And hold on one second, Joe.
Something they told me specifically. And they told me this directly. Is they created me. They said we created you and we put you on Earth so that you can be who you are now.
Okay.
And for people who is into ufology and follow along with the UFO phenomenon and stuff, and listen to people's experiences with abductions and abductees and stuff.
Yes.
There's a lot of similarities in people's stories about beings that are kind of experimenting on them, and they're very interested in our reproduction.
Right.
That is very true.
And how we reproduce, and a lot of abductee stories talk about that they are creating these hybrids.
Yeah.
Of humans, part humans and part something else.
Right.
So that leads me to believe, well, am I one of these beings that was, some type of a hybrid?
Like a modification of sorts.
Race. It's possible.
I grew up my life not knowing any of this. I did get some confirmation that kind of confirms that from my perspective.
Okay.
Which was two family members, my sister and my father, before he passed away. Both of them had confirmed a story of an interaction with a UFO my family had before I was born.
Okay.
And then my father experienced one a few months after that interaction. and to give a little history on that, I have
Yes.
4 older siblings, and they're all born a year apart.
Oh.
And between myself and the next oldest, there's a year's gap in there.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
what I find incredible, so my younger brother and I were called miracle babies.
Okay.
Because in that gap between me and my next oldest sibling, my mother had a miscarriage.
Oh.
And she was told she's not going to have children anymore. Something was damaged in her, and she couldn't have children.
Oh.
So then a year later, I was born, and then after me, my younger brother was born. So we were considered these miracle babies that weren't supposed to have been possibly
something
born.
very special, essentially.
So was your younger brother, did they ever say that they were in contact with your younger brother, or your younger brother had some significance in this story?
No, but I've had very open discussions with my younger brother concerning the way our mother was.
Mm-hmm.
With us, it seemed as though she tried to, and this came from my younger brother. He told
Okay.
me once, he said, it always seemed as though our mom was trying to avoid him and I, like distance herself from
Really?
us. Yeah, so there was some strange things, just childhood stuff growing up.
Well, maybe it
Where
was...
there was a time the family was split up, and we were, just things happened, but we were separated from family members and stuff.
Right.
And-
yeah. Just in general,
and
step
another thing
separation. Things.
Another thing my younger brother talks about, he says he's always felt a connection to the moon, for whatever reason.
Really? Okay.
And he doesn't know what it is. He says, but ever since I was young, he's like, something about the moon just, it trances me. It puts me in a trance. Like, he'll sit and just stare at the moon. Like,
The
and he
moon
doesn't know
is
why.
quite intriguing. I mean, that's how I
Yeah.
feel about the moon myself.
Yeah.
Even my daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, loves the moon.
Yeah.
And she's intrigued by it.
Yeah, there could be something, pulling him there. I mean, the thing is that, with your mom not really paying much attention or not really wanting to be close to you guys or whatever, it could have been something to do with
Could be
your
multiple reasons,
energy
right.
source. I mean,
It
you
could be.
could
It
have
could
had
be,
some
but-
kind of a different vibe, a different vibration going on or something that she wasn't quite sure how to deal with.
Well, something that my brother and I had discussed is the possibility that perhaps she was abducted and perhaps she remembered it.
Oh,
Oh.
maybe.
And she may have had been suffering her own trauma from that experience.
Gotcha.
Could be, I suppose.
So that may have been bringing perhaps bad memories back.
Maybe.
There could be a multitude of things that.
Maybe that could be how she got pregnant with Joel. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm not gonna say that's all the realm of possibility. Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
Well, something else I'll mention, like I've always noticed it, and my siblings had noticed it as well, but it always seemed that I was a favored child.
Okay.
I used to, now I always accounted it because I used to sing from a young age. At 2 or 3 years old, I started singing songs, and
Oh, wow.
my father used to have a band when I was really young, and all the other kids would have to go to bed, but I would be able to stay up and sing with the band and stuff.
There you
And this
go.
was at an early age, at like 3 or 4 years old.
Right.
And even after many years, like my parents had divorced and stuff, and here in Toronto, my mother had remarried. And my stepdad, one time, he said something very peculiar to me. He asked me, he says, "What's between you and your mother?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "She treats you differently than the other kids. Why is that?"
Right.
So it was something like even he noticed that. I don't know. There was just something different. the way she was.
There was just something noticeable.
Yeah.
Like a vibe in the air. People could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just grew up in this kind of weird way, always feeling different, always feeling. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I totally understand.
I think like I seem to have a very mechanical mind. When it comes to like just observing something and understanding how it works and stuff like this, and I've always been this way. And I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain.
No, that's
it's
okay.
the way you know what I've told you this before. You seem your style is quite similar to my style in certain regards. You seem to be an investigatory type of person. You seem to be a sponge for knowledge, which I am greatly. You have great curiosity about things, and you, in your own heart, your own head, knew that there was something different about yourself that was not the typical difference that, say, just a regular old Joe off the street would feel,
Yeah, I think Daniel has actually been abducted because he's got his egg-shaped head. I can't figure that out.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for that. Go ahead, Joe. That was uncalled for, by the way. You're immediately fired after this show.
I'm trying to make Joe a little bit more comfortable to go ahead and talk a little bit more about
But that hurt my feelings.
Oh.
Okay.
Well,
I believe in Canada.
I'll tell you.
I believe in Canada you can go to jail for what you just did.
Well, I love you.
Okay. Go ahead, Joe.
Me?
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, something else I'll point out about my own personality
Yes.
that I've always felt kind of was peculiar. But from a young age, right up till present, I've always been very interested in humans and what makes humans. Like
Okay. How like for me, it was always how the mind
behavior,
worked.
why humans behave the way they behave, and I've always it's sort of like been almost like a hobby of mine, just analyzing human behavior and just kind of wondering like what makes us tick, why we are the way we are, and why we're all different, why we're all the same.
Yeah, why we do certain things.
We're all different.
Why we say certain things.
And and maybe honestly, maybe that's why you've been contacted, because now they have the answer for you.
That could be one of many reasons why he's been contacted. I'll let Joe explain.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead, Joe.
So I've had some very in-depth discussions with a spiritual friend of mine in this regard.
Okay.
And she said it's because of where you were at that time, mentally. Because as I've...
So you're talking about 2017,
where
I
think
you were
we
mentally.
mentioned this before on the show, that I don't identify with groups. So, I can say, and this sounds weird, but I can say, I love God. I love Jesus. Jesus was my Savior, but I'm not religious.
Right,
I
exactly.
don't follow a religion. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Catholic. I'm no religion.
Right.
But yet you might read the Bible or something like that, blah, blah, blah.
But you believe.
You believe in
something.
You believe in something.
Yeah.
You know that something's out there, a higher power, perhaps.
Well, I believe. I have to say it as I believe. I would rather say as I know.
Okay.
But see, it's hard to talk about some things because some things I've had confirmation of. So I'll say, I know there's a God. I know the beings I was talking to are our God.
Right.
How that resonates with other people, I understand from other people's perspective because they didn't have the experience. So for other people observing me, they say that is his belief.
Right, exactly.
But they don't know how profound the experience was and what exactly I experienced in depth. that for me, it's a confirmation. It took me beyond my own beliefs, my own understanding.
Essentially what it is that you know what you know. You were there. You heard it. You saw it. It was in you mentally.
You experienced it.
You don't feel the need to have to explain to people that perhaps I'm not crazy. I didn't.
Right,
I'm not
right.
insane.
Right.
You're past that point.
Yeah.
Now you're to the point where
I am just so where I am right now in life. As I was saying before, a lot of people have questions. Is the metaphysical real? Is there something beyond our physical bodies?
Right.
And I'll say, yes, there very much is. The life I live right now, having confirmation of so many things, of the metaphysical world, it's like I'm living with 1 foot in the physical reality and 1 foot in the metaphysical world.
Okay.
And I'm seeing the world more from the perspective of two worlds and how those two worlds interact.
Okay.
So how the energetic world is interacting with the physical world.
Right.
A lot of people, I think, there's a lot of people actually that's also experiencing this, but I think for the most part, most people are still only perceiving the world through the physical self, through the cognitive mind.
Yes, exactly.
And they're still at the point of, having the choice of believing in the metaphysical or believing something beyond. But they have that choice of saying, well, I don't really believe it, or right? But for me, it's like I don't have that choice anymore of saying I don't believe it.
Well,
right?
Here's the thing.
It's there.
Joe, real quick, the other issue that that is major to what you're talking about is that first and foremost, before any of this, there are individuals like you, Jennifer, that are still afraid to come out and even talk about this. And that in itself is a major problem.
Yeah.
It is. You're absolutely right. I'm going to be actually very soon creating some spaces for people to come into and feel comfortable talking about these issues.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but the conversation is it's going to be more geared for people who do know,
Yep.
or people who very strongly believe and they're ready for that confirmation.
That they've had some sort of experience,
An awakening.
some sort of issue. Yeah, an awakening similar to what you did.
Yeah, so for instance, like I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
In these discussions, we're going to be discussing the metaphysical in the truth of what it is.
Right.
So we're going beyond the point of saying we believe it's there. No, we're going to be jumping into it and addressing it and examining it.
Just going
and
headfirst into it.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
understand.
So for anybody like coming into that space, it's not going to be a space to come in and want to like argue about, well, this is my belief, this is my understanding.
Right, yeah, it's not going to be a fight club of beliefs.
You have to have an open mind.
Those kind of actions are come from the cognitive mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's from the physical reality.
It'll only put you
that
backwards.
comes from the ego self.
Exactly.
And
it's a backward movement.
The people I'm starting to align with right now, we're moving beyond that ego self. We're saying, wait a minute, something's there, something's very real. We're no longer wanting to confirm it's there. We're at the point now of saying we want to explore it.
That you know it, that you want to investigate.
Yeah, we want to see what exactly is the human potential. There's a great awakening happening.
Mm-hmm.
Around the world, and a lot of people are becoming more spiritually awakened.
Yep.
But a lot of people, even spiritually awakened, they're not fully understanding what's happening to them.
No,
or
they're
why
not.
They're having these experiences, why they're feeling the way they're feeling and experiencing the reality of the world the way they are. So these discussions, hopefully it's going to give them some comfort, because we're going to jump right into the discussions of the other side.
Okay.
So that, so like people who's experienced it, they're going to understand the conversations.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Whereas, and really, it's going to be for everybody. Like, it's not just limited to people who've had confirmation or had experiences. It's going to be for everybody who wants to sit in and listen. Right. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to be getting into pissing matches.
Exactly.
With people in regards to beliefs and, well, I think it's this way and I think it's that way, and it's like, it's like.
You have to be able to move past that, essentially.
Yeah.
It's almost like a card into the club. You need to move past all that. We're past that.
Yeah,
we're ascending to a higher plane.
You're absolutely right. Like, arguing about stuff is an action of the physical reality. It's an action of the cognitive mind, and it comes from the ego.
Yeah,
the ego self that says, hey, this is what I believe, and I want my belief to be right.
Right.
Yep.
Right? And basically, to move beyond that is to understand that all beliefs and understandings of the physical mind, it only comes from the observation and the perception of reality.
Correct.
And that is very limited to what is actually there. Right? So we're not looking to argue anymore. Like,
it's old. It's played out.
It's like,
it's time to move on.
And I say it in the most respectful way, like, because people have a right to believe whatever they want to believe.
True.
Mm-hmm.
True.
They can perceive God in any way they want to perceive God. They can, I respect them. I respect, because I can put myself into their position and understand what they've seen, what they've read, what they've been taught, in order for them to have the perception that they have.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, I
right,
completely
and I don't have to agree with their perception, but I also don't have to disagree with their perception.
That's right.
I can allow it to just to right. Letting go of the ego is saying that's your perception, and I respect
that is your truth.
I don't have to,
and you respect it, but I don't have to buy into it. That's not my truth.
Right.
That's right, and I say the same thing for everybody who's listening. You can all say the same thing about me and about what I'm saying.
Right.
If that's your position, you can say, I don't understand what this guy's talking about. That's his truth. That's his beliefs, and I don't have to buy into it.
Right.
And I'll be the first one to tell people that, because that's what you call respecting people.
Well, the thing is, we've said this many times before on this show, is that, we want to be the middleman, and we want people to hear what you have to say, and if people disagree with you, that's perfectly fine. You have the right to do so. But if people understand, perhaps, or know what you're talking about, that this is for them. Yeah. You're speaking to them.
Right. But, it's also good to keep an open mind, too, because everyone has their own opinions, and maybe you might learn a little something, too.
Open minds are great.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not. It's wonderful to have an open mind about everything.
Yeah.
But, as Joe has said, this is moving on past the point of judgment, past the point of disagreement, or like I said, Fight Club scenarios about your beliefs.
Right.
This is a whole new level.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So Joe himself is past that point.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I were Joe, I would be looking for the people that are more like-minded.
Yep.
As well.
Yep.
But if you don't believe me,
it doesn't. Oh, hold on. Because it doesn't have to be like-minded. So let me put it in a different way that maybe you can understand.
Okay.
If I separate the self to the physical self and then to the soul self.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize that there's two parts of us. Basically, it's like saying, I want to enter into a conscious space
Right.
where the physical self is no longer relevant.
Okay, there you go.
So,
Okay, understood.
So people don't have to be like-minded.
Okay, I said that wrong. I stated that wrong. Okay.
Yeah, so let me just elaborate on this. So it's like where I want to go into a space, it's into a space of consciousness.
Okay.
And in that realm, and in meditations, we're going to be accessing higher vibrational frequencies that exist in different quantum fields. They're all around us. We're already connected to it.
Right.
Indeed.
We want to start exploring what's there and what's capable, what are our capabilities of interacting with these other higher frequency energies.
Right.
Now, to do it, that is something that the soul part of the person does. So if I were to say, like, to go into that space, I don't care who joins me in that space.
Right.
I see.
So, and I can sit there and say, I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what your beliefs are.
Right.
I don't care what books you've read. I don't care what your education is. I don't care what your color is.
Right.
Correct.
And that's not to be misinterpreted in a negative way.
Exactly.
Right.
When I'm saying I don't care, it doesn't mean I don't care about you. I love everybody.
You have let go of the ego.
I mean that sincerely. Yeah. What I mean is, I don't care if you're a Christian. I don't care if you're a Muslim. I don't care if you're Hindu. I don't care if you're black, brown. I don't care. I don't care what language, because what we want to do in this
You've
other
moved
space,
past that. You've moved
it's
past
about
that.
your soul.
Yeah.
Right? It's about your soul and your conscious body joining us in that space to explore different frequencies.
It's not necessarily about the physical anymore.
Christian? Well, being a Christian becomes irrelevant there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Right? Being a Muslim becomes irrelevant there. It's like, lend me your conscious mind and lend me your energetic body.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what we want. That's what we want to explore. So to say, like, I don't care who somebody is, that is in the most respectful way.
Right.
To say, I don't care who you are, I accept you as my brother or my sister.
Yep.
Right? Because I know the truth of our souls, and our souls are all the same.
Right.
That is
right.
Our souls are all connected to the same source of energy, to the same source of consciousness. Behind the scenes, we are
one giant
one.
Connection.
Yep.
Right? It's only the physical selves that separate us.
That's right.
Yeah.
And when we can walk through a door, but we leave our physical selves at the door,
Yep.
we walk into a space of consciousness where we become as one.
Yep. Yep. Now, Joe, is this going to cost anyone? Because I know there are programs out there that do something similar to this, but it does cost to get in.
No, this is going to be absolutely free for everybody.
Okay.
Learning about this stuff, it shouldn't cost anybody anything. My opinion, people trying to sell spirituality, people trying to sell religion, people trying to make a buck from somebody else saying, here, pay me money and believe what I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
These are false people. These people are out for their ego
Exactly.
self. That's who they are serving.
Anybody to make money
Right.
is not truly for it, to be honest with you. You know, if you have that ability,
No, and
why would you make money off of it?
Like, I'll be honest with you, I have, I'm disgruntled with some religions
Mm-hmm.
and the way they operate, not the people, right? Not the congregations.
Yeah.
I think religious people are some of the most beautiful people in the world that I've ever met. They're very kind. They're very kind-hearted. They're very generous people. But when I look at the churches, the heads of the religions themselves, like I'll give you an example.
It's going
I've seen a
apeshit
photo
with these
before.
guys.
I've seen a photo before of a pope, And he was sitting on a golden throne, wearing a golden crown encrusted in jewels, holding a golden scepter encrusted in jewels, with like this royal garment draped
some sort
over
of
him.
king.
And I've seen this photo, and I
kings.
think to myself, this is a person claiming to be a representative of God?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. Why are you sitting there, draped in gold, flaunting wealth, while there's children starving to death in this world?
Yeah.
Yes, starving.
And you claim to be a representative of God?
Right.
You're not representing God. I'm sorry.
They have no place
That
to
is
live
not
and no place
representing
to
God.
go.
Well, Jesus, when I've seen him, he's contacted me. He's come to me and talked to me. When I see him in almost like tethered clothing and like a robe. There's no fanciness.
You know what?
There's no
Here's the funniest thing.
gold. There's no nothing.
Let me tell you. It's like this. Okay, and I hate to make this reference, but I'm going to.
Right.
Indiana Jones. Okay.
Yeah.
Remember when it was, I believe it wasn't the Temple of Doom, but it was the other one with the Nazis and whatnot. When they were looking for the Holy Grail.
Holy Grail, yeah.
Okay. I should know that name of that movie, by the way. I worked in movie theaters forever. Shame on me. But anyway, when he got into that position where he had the Holy Grail, remember that first Nazi guy? Grab the best looking one. Now that is a cup of king of kings. And he took a drink with it, and the guy said, "Well, you chose fucked up."
Yeah.
And Indiana Jones, knowing, understanding,
the tethered one.
He looked at the just this simple tattered. I think it was bronze, maybe just a carpenter's cup.
Yep.
And that he chose correctly.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're talking about there. As far as you're sitting on this throne of gold, you have these jewels and money.
Right.
Yet there's seriously still children out there in the world right now that are suffering.
Yep.
Suffering in multiple ways.
Yep.
From anything from sickness, virus, hunger, dirty water, no roof over their head.
Yeah.
Maybe their parents have died and they're by themselves with nobody.
Right.
Things along those lines. I'm sorry, Joe. I just
everything.
had to mention that.
Yeah.
No, it's absolutely true. Who are we serving? Are we serving God or are we serving ourselves?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Our eyes deceive us. Do you know?
Yeah. So when we start doing these group things, it's going to be free for everybody. It's
everybody.
Just join in.
That's right.
Okay.
It's like I'm gonna teach people the information that was given to me. I'm going to pass it on, and it doesn't cost anything. Actually, they told me specifically.
Yeah.
And by they, I'm talking about the beings I was in contact with. They told me that I'm not to profit from this. So, I could write a book, right? But I'm not allowed to sell a book. I'm not allowed to make money from this.
Right, right.
You're not allowed to make money.
I have to share this experience willingly because the knowledge may have been given to me, but it's not mine. It's for all of us.
Understood. It's for you to spread.
To share.
That's right. I'm just the messenger, right? I'm just the chalice that it comes through.
Yep.
It's for everybody. So I can't sit there and say, well, yeah, if you want to participate in this, it's going to cost you some money. No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Right, exactly.
That's not loving and respecting everybody.
If you're going to give this type of word out to people, one of the main things is it must be free. Right. Right. First and foremost, or that knowledge is just not going to be able to get to people. But this is something that we need badly.
Yeah.
What Joe is starting to talk about is something that is extraordinary and much needed.
Yes. Yes. So, Joe, when they actually, these beings actually came to you and gave you the message to spread the word, is there a purpose for that? I mean, is there actually a purpose for us on life on this planet?
A purpose for life is what you're saying.
Purpose for life on this planet?
Actually, I'll share something with
Okay.
with the audience. So early on in this interaction I was having,
Okay.
I was telling people something jumped inside of me. I wasn't understanding it at the time,
Right.
but I could feel another presence inside of me.
Really?
So after it was actually reading the Bible that explained it to me. That other presence I was feeling was the Spirit of Christ that had come into me.
The Holy
Okay.
Spirit.
And that Spirit of Christ had its own personality, its own consciousness. So it's like I was existing with this other conscious being inside of me.
Yep.
The purpose, somebody had asked about the meaning of life.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a question that was posted somewhere. And I answered that question, but it wasn't me answering it. It was the Spirit within me that answered that question.
Okay.
And what I had responded to that is there are two parts of us. Again, the physical and the metaphysical.
Right.
We have the cognitive mind and the subconscious. We are more of the subconscious. The subconscious is what's always guiding us correctly to do good and to do right and to love.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the cognitive mind that creates the personalities of self that can do wrong, right? That can harm others,
Correct.
that can have bad intentions. But the consciousness of self is a loving, right? It's not doing wrong. It's a pure. So the meaning of life is to learn how to transition to be able to basically switch these roles around. So you're bringing the conscious part of self out to the forefront to become the new personality of self.
Right.
And allowing the cognitive mind that is capable of doing wrong to become like the subconscious part where you have it within you to do bad,
Right.
but it's not in the forefront anymore. In the forefront
It's pushed.
anymore is the love self.
Exactly.
So-
It's pushed.
Right, so
it's
it-
pushed far behind.
Yeah. So do you think that
Yeah,
the
so it's like
purpose-
the purpose is evolving, right? It's an evolutionary step.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think it's also the fact of maybe knowing and understanding is our purpose?
Learning, perhaps, is that what
Knowing
you're
and
talking about?
knowing
Like
and
knowledge,
understanding what?
gather knowledge
understanding,
over
you
and
know?
over again,
Yeah.
perhaps what you're saying throughout lifetimes or
Yes.
something along those lines.
Yes.
Moving further, but like he just said, putting negativity, aggressiveness, this and that, sort of off the forefront behind you is one of, say, many lessons that you may have learned.
Right.
Is that what
right.
you're saying? Okay. Did you get that, Joe?
Yeah, it's
Is that
yeah, like we're all here experiencing reality, and in the reality we're all learning lessons.
right? Yes.
Yeah.
We learn
Everybody at their own
lessons
pace,
more
I'm assuming.
from negative things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
More so, we learn more from negativity than we do from positivity.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
So, but it's from the negative we learn to be positive.
Yep. Yep.
Right? So it's like, how do we create a world without war? Well, we have to all be able to recognize the harms of war
Yep.
in order to eliminate it, right? We all have to experience war. We all have to see it. We all have to, we basically, we have to deal with it. We have to learn from it
Yep.
in order to evolve to a state that we exist without it.
Exactly. There's
You know,
certain
so-
tests that you have to pass.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and if you don't, for many people, life lessons will keep reoccurring.
Oh yeah.
and reoccurring until they learn the lesson.
And
once you learn the lesson, you stop repeating.
Right. You think of it as a video game, perhaps, like Super Mario Brothers, the little ones playing.
Yeah.
When you die so many times, you have to do it over again. You have to restart the level.
Yeah.
Similar to that.
Similar, yeah.
Until you have learned your lesson.
Yeah.
And you have advanced past that level.
Yeah. So that could be so much like, okay, let's say a person dies, but they haven't quite learned their purpose or learned their lesson, that person is automatically, according to some people, automatically sent back to relive their life.
That could be, Joe.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Now that could be in a reincarnation state, or it could happen in a near-death experience.
Right.
Where somebody physically dies, they go somewhere else, and if you look at near-death experiences, many of them say the same thing: is that the place where they went, they were like giving a choice of you can stay here or go back. Yeah. And most of them say that they chose to stay, but for whatever reason they were sent back, and then they come back to life. But they come back with a different perspective on life.
Right.
A different understanding of life.
Yeah, you have extra knowledge, so to speak.
Right, and some of them come back with the ability to, be psychic, or the ability to, have some other kind of special
something,
talent.
That's different, I would say.
Well, because they've actually reached that source. They've reached into the realm of existence that is you're always going to exist, and there's never going to be any pain or struggle or anything like that. So they kind of put their foot in the door. So when they leave and they come back here, they've got some of that still in them.
I could wrap that all by saying that you've opened up the curtain and you've seen the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like Wizard of Oz.
That's right, and if you look at an overall purpose of that, there's hundreds of thousands of those cases.
Exactly.
Is it not true?
No.
Like what all of these people all saying the same thing and all having the same experience, how can we sit and say, well, that's not true?
Right.
That's not really what happened.
Exactly.
So it's almost like they're sent back to talk about the experience.
Yeah.
And to be a witness to it. And as an observer to it, like I've never had a near-death experience, but observing it, I have to conclude, well, there's something there, because you don't have thousands and thousands of people all dying temporarily and coming back and telling the same story if there's something not to it.
Right.
Right? There has to be something to it. So they're basically acting as witnesses, telling the rest of humanity, yes, there is something beyond this.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep. So now, have your beings been able to show you if there is a heaven or a hell?
It depends on how you define heaven and hell.
Right, exactly. Many people look at heaven and hell in multiple different ways.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, like for instance, like religions try to portray like heaven as just, I don't know, floating up in the cloud with wings on, and
just,
these
happiness
angelic beings and stuff, and they perceive
giggling.
hell as being these fiery pits, and there's a devil down there with a pitchfork.
With a little pitchfork poking in the ass.
Yeah, so, it's how you perceive heaven and hell. Heaven, from the gospel, the way the gospel speaks of heaven, it's what is up there beyond earth. And it doesn't get specific about it, right? It just talks about what is above us, and it's referred to as heaven. Well, from my experience, I can say heaven would be consisting of other planets with other beings, right? Multiple.
That's exactly how I would feel.
Or you're using
your
consciousness or your soul to go to those other planets, and that's where you live, you know, your happy life. You don't have any pain, you don't have any sadness, you know, you don't have any hate or anything like that, because your soul is purified.
It could very well be.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people perceive that as heaven is something to experience after death, or that hell is something to experience after death.
Right.
But to use a phrase out of the Bible, what does that say about what the Christians refer to as rapture and being taken up? Right. Well, the Bible, the gospel says, those who believe shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Yep.
Right.
So they're not going to perish. Means that you don't die, but you get taken up into heaven. So is heaven something to experience after death? Well, the gospel says,
right,
you know, those who believe shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So what then are they referring to as the heavens?
Yep, exactly.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, it's like, so, you know, I can understand where stories come from, and it's from not knowing.
Yeah.
So if somebody's reading, if somebody's reading the gospel, but they don't know of the kingdom of God, if it's never been revealed to them, then they can only use their imagination to create what they think the kingdom of God is.
Right. Well,
right. Exactly.
Right.
But
from
only create
somebody
in their
who's
mind.
experienced it, somebody who's experienced it. Like, to me, the kingdom of God is other planets.
Yeah.
It's other beings, and beings that are more connected with higher quantum fields that stretch far beyond our imagination, our cognitive mind, than what we can conceive. Right, but it's all very real. And so, like, when I read I'll say it like this: when I read the gospel, it's very interesting with the New Testament specifically. The way the apostles talk, I understand it from a different perspective.
Okay.
It's because I was a witness to it. So how all the apostles are bound by the Spirit of Christ.
Yeah.
And they get awakened by the Spirit of Christ. And when the Spirit of Christ goes into them, they receive words from God. They receive words and direction, and they receive visions.
Yeah.
This is, you know, talked about all through the Bible. Enoch having visions, and all the prophets having visions and stuff. So for somebody who hasn't experienced it, they can only create in their imagination whatever they want to create. To represent that kingdom of God.
Yeah.
From my experience, I would say I experienced it. I've seen the kingdom of God. I was awakened by the Spirit of Christ. I've seen other dimensions. I was showed how they work. I have confirmation that there is life beyond this earth. You know, so I have a very different perception of leaving the gospel and how the gospel is talking, because when these apostles are talking about certain things, they're talking about it from the perception of the Spirit of Christ that was in them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So for somebody else reading those words that doesn't have or never had the Spirit of Christ in them, the words don't really make sense.
Right, exactly. So, you know, we're definitely going to be talking about that just a little bit more, and we'll be getting into a lot more coming up in the next hour, and I think it's going to be great. We'll be right back. Alright, let's go.
Alright, let's take a look at our weather forecast today.
Today's forecast, a lot of sunshine, blue skies, marine clouds. Just a perfect day to go outside and relax. That's your forecast. We'll be right back.
Yeah, sunny days, sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, about to get away. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break. Sunny day, make way. All the stress and doubt, yeah, not today. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break. Got the Tropicana, fresh cut sushi on a platter. Ready, honey, it don't matter, shots till I drop. Gonna be 24/7, golden hour like a boss. And they say, yo, guess you got a 2 o'clock appointment for a champagne shot, oh yeah. I'm busy trying to take it higher. Got no time for never, only spending cheddar. Wish I could do this forever. Chilling with the hottest company. They all wanna welcome me to their private penthouse suite. Yeah, now I got the key. Rooftop pool, got a heli on speed. Ocean view from the highest peak. I'm complete, oh I want this to stay. Please don't go away. Yeah. Sunny days, sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, about to get away. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break. Sunny day, make way. All the stress and doubt, yeah, not today. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break.
반짝이는 waves 향긋한 가을 향해 칵테일 feeling up 어제나 뿐일 때 태양이 너야 이 순간을 느껴 꿈이 아니니까
Dollars on a dolly with my homies, eco-friendly. Here we invite only positivity to this party. Don't want no drama with any bad karma. Got a lot of that in La Vida Loca. Just wanna let it all go. Yeah, I can't say no when I'm this free. Don't wanna go home, oh I can't sleep. Weather's so nice, only got good vibes. Yeah, we here chillin' in paradise. Sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, about to get away. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break. Sunny day, make way. All the stress and doubt, yeah, not today. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break. Sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, about to get away. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break. Sunny day, make way. All the stress and doubt, yeah, not today. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break.
problems. I would never thought that you could be causing these problems. It smells so bright with eyes like these diamonds. Caution, I know I should have known. Right now you're not alone. I don't wanna get in trouble. See where you stand. I don't wanna see you crumble. To recall what we meant, all the words you never said, all the questions in my head, 'cause you're trouble, yeah.
Want to reach Night Talks Radio? That's easy. Simply dial 1-507-384-9390. Or for first-time callers, just dial 1-507-307-4424. From somewhere in the great upper Midwest, here's Daniel Brewer and Jennifer Gregerson.
Everyone says that I should get going, start running.
Welcome back to Night Talks Radio. We were up against a quick break there. My lord. We had to skidoo, but we will jump right back into conversation with Joe Chase here shortly. Just a few reminders. This weekend, of course, is our Season 2 finale weekend, Jennifer.
Yes.
And also, tonight and tomorrow, we will not have an NTR New Music Now guest.
No.
Look forward to that starting next weekend
Yep.
and the start of Season 3. We just wanted to get that out fairly quickly. But we're back in Hour 2 with Joe Chase. Joe, are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, there's Joe. We were explaining to the audience there that we were up against a quick break. Could you start up where we left off?
Where was that? I just kind of kept blabbing there for a minute.
That's all right.
That's okay. That's okay.
Can you explain to the audience who has been contacting you and what they are saying to you?
Is that where we're? Okay. Yep.
Okay, so when I inquired to them, who am I speaking to?
Right.
They told me very directly that they are what humans perceive as God and angels.
Okay.
Now, they didn't say, and I want to be clear of that. They didn't say we are God and angels. They said we are what humans perceive as God and angels.
Okay. So
I didn't really understand that until I started reading the Bible, and it was talking about angels appearing as men and interacting with people, angels walking on earth. And I was like, okay, these are physical beings. These aren't some shimmering light beings with big fluffy wings, like how,
Right.
I've always thought of angels, and that's just going by, how religions kind of portray angels as being.
Yep.
Well, that's not what the gospel says. The gospel says these were, walking amongst people.
Right.
Physical beings.
Yeah, some of them can walk amongst you. Some of them are actually like a light being, and they actually do have wings, because Daniel and I actually have a picture of an angel that was on our phone, that came through on our phone. It was some kind of incident that we had in Kentucky. So
that
some of
was
them
pretty
do,
spooky.
Yeah,
I think we've spoken about that before.
So some of them do have wings. But it's not the wings that we see.
Well, it certainly looked like wings. It could be
like
perceived
wings,
as wings. But, of course, again, angels could be perceived as anything.
Yeah, they show up in whatever way they want to show up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
When you understand the metaphysical world, you understand how there are entities existing there that don't have a physical form.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. If they were to appear to us within our visual spectrum, yes, they would look like beings of light.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They could create themselves as a being of light with wings. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They can essentially make themselves look any way they want, really, to you.
They can come as a human being if they want
perhaps,
to.
they want to make you comfortable. What's the most comfortable to you? They could come in that form. There's probably many possibilities, I would imagine.
Yeah, so like if you look like in the biblical story of Sodom and Gomorrah,
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Those were two angels, and the townspeople were like, "Give us those men." You know what I mean? Like they weren't these light beings; they were physical beings.
Yep.
So even when the story of Moses and Moses leading the Israelis out of Egypt and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now that's an interesting story, but in the gospel there's an interesting twist on it when they got to the Red Sea, and I don't hear religions talking about this aspect of the story. So the religious teaching is that it was Moses that led the people out of Egypt.
Okay.
If you read in the gospel, when they got to the Red Sea, it talks about how there was an angel that was walking with them. And the angel was being guided by God's dwelling in the daytime, which is described as a pillar cloud. In modern times, we would call it a cigar-shaped UFO.
Yes,
And the pillar cloud, the pillar cloud became a fire in the sky at night.
Yep.
Which led the way. So it wasn't Moses actually leading them. It was an angel that was walking with them.
Yep.
And when they did get to the Red Sea, the angel and God's dwelling went behind them to protect them from the Egyptians.
Yep.
Right? So this is like all physical stuff that was taking place. This isn't metaphoric. This is there was an actual being
literally
walking with
happened.
them that was leading them.
Yep.
Yeah, it absolutely
Right, but-
literally happened. So, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Joe.
Yeah, so, well, I just wanted to say, like, so without having knowledge of these beings existing and the reality of it, you can't really tell the story with that part in it because you can't explain that part.
No,
Right,
you
right.
can't.
Or you have
that
to
would
make,
be
or you have
extremely
to make
hard.
the being imaginary.
Exactly.
Yep.
You know, because you can't fit in the physical part of it.
It's similar. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I was just going to say it's all very interesting. Like the gospel to me has the gospel referring to the Bible has a very, very different story when I read it. When I read it, I was like, where's religion getting their story from out of this book? Like,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, the book was telling a totally different story.
Well, it was rewritten. Many years ago, the Bible was rewritten.
It's
and
been passed
rewritten
throughout the history.
several
It's
times,
changed
too,
multiple
in
times.
different versions, everything like that. So I mean, it's like a chain reaction in a way. Like, okay, if you're in musical chairs or whatever, and you're passing, like doing hot potato or whatever, you're passing it on and on and on, and stuff. Someone is going to add something else to
Yeah,
it. eventually,
there's something
type
taken
thing,
from it. There's
so-
something added to
Yeah.
it, and then you add, thousands and thousands of years or this and that and blah blah blah. It's absolutely going to change. People are going to perceive it differently, and
Yep.
there you
Yep.
go. Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Up there.
a part of the story and a part of my experience, and I will talk about this again.
Okay.
Because to me, it seems like the main part of what I was called upon. Like I was told specifically to gather people together.
Right.
And when I asked who, I was told specifically people with a pure heart and pure intentions.
Okay. And how are you supposed? Okay, so that's who you were supposed to select. That's who you're supposed to find. How are you supposed to know that? Did they instill that in you?
No, the way it works is,
I'm
and
just
again,
curious.
it's according to the gospel, is people elect themselves.
Yeah.
So, like, if a religion teaches,
step forward, so to speak.
believe in this religion and you're going to be saved.
Right.
That's kind of a false teaching. I
Right,
mean,
right.
it may they may have a good intention, but it's kind of a false teaching because there is no chosen people. I know Christians think that because they believe in Jesus that they're God's chosen people. The Hebrews think, right? The Jews think that because they were God's first chosen people that they still are God's chosen people.
Right.
Right? The Muslims believe that they are Allah's chosen people.
Exactly.
So you have all these religions saying the same thing. Well, be a part of this religion because we're God's chosen people.
Right.
That's not what it says in the scriptures.
No.
Right? The scriptures talk about electing oneself. Right? So God doesn't pre-choose people. People choose themselves.
That's correct.
And that, right? And it's an election process. That election process is kind of what I'm talking about, what I want to start doing in this other conscious space.
Yep. And I think
Right?
that's
Because
a very good idea.
who is going to elect themselves to be able to go there?
Right.
Right? Who can put away their physical selves? Their all their beliefs, all their knowledge, everything, just kind of leave it at the door and let's venture into a different conscious space and let's explore it.
I'm there.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Some people will do it and some people will choose not to do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
And
there.
it's perfectly fine.
You absolutely have to choose to do it yourself. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely want to understand, what is going on with me, and stuff like that. I'm confused. I'm confused between the
Many people
reality
are nowadays,
and
when it comes to this type of stuff.
metaphysic. At night when I go to bed, the metaphysic talks to me, and I'm supposed to do these things, and I'm confused because...
You want answers.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have answers, and I would like some answers to...
Or at least knowledge.
Know what's going on. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, so I think what's going to happen with these meditations and stuff is for some people who participate, and if they have the open mind to it,
yes,
I believe something is going to happen during these meditation practices and going into this space of consciousness where people will be able to actually physically feel these surges of energies, doing the energy work that I want to do.
Yes.
Yep.
People will feel it. People will feel vibration. People will feel the connection that we're going to have with everybody participating. And when we share our love with each other, I believe people are going to actually feel it.
Yep. Yep.
The question... go ahead.
Well, for a lot of people, I think that's going to be their confirmation of the metaphysical world.
Yep, yep.
And it's going to get them over that hump of believing or stepping into it.
Yep.
Right? And once they have that confirmation, they're going to step into it more full. And that's when their mind is really going to open up. Their consciousness is really going to expand.
Right,
exactly. And they'll start understanding it a lot more because now they're experiencing it. Rather than just standing on the outside looking at it, they're stepping into it.
Are you supposed to find a certain amount of people?
No.
No.
That's something I've actually... so I was given certain instructions
okay.
On things to do, but I wasn't told how to do it.
Ah.
Maybe
you're a piece to the puzzle.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things, my understanding was, I'm supposed to actually speak the gospel.
Okay.
But how I say, I see the gospel as a very different story. I'm supposed to read that story how I'm seeing it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Whether, and I've been hesitant up till now. I'm being encouraged by a good friend of mine, a spiritual friend.
Okay.
And she's, she just keeps insisting, you just have to do it. Do what you were told to do. Don't worry about how people's going to react. Right. And again, it goes back to perception, right? Because, I understand how a Christian perceives Christianity because of what they've been told, how the gospel has been read to them,
right?
Which forms their beliefs, right? And so when I do read the gospel, I want people to understand I'm not trying to challenge people's beliefs. I'm not trying to challenge their perception. I understand their beliefs and how it comes from their perception. But in return, can I get that same respect?
Exactly.
To say,
exactly.
This is my perception, and this is my interpretation.
Yeah.
Yes. Please listen
right?
to what I have to say.
A lot of people can't handle that difference. They look at it as you're challenging their belief, which you're not. You're just saying,
you're not.
I understand you believe it that way, but this is my perception of it, and this is my interpretation.
The hardest thing to do, Joe, is to unlearn something.
Yeah. Yeah.
For yourself to be...
I think that's, it's been suggested to me, again, why this happened to me is because of, who I am and what I've gone through in life,
right,
which left me in a space, again, to say, I'm not religious and I don't belong to any group,
right,
but I was always very open-minded to the possibility of God.
Yeah.
Right.
It's your
right,
calling.
but I never committed myself to say I believe this way or I believe that way or I'm going to commit to this group or I'm going to commit to. I've always kind of just stayed open-minded about all things.
And then that's exactly
Yeah.
how I've been.
Yeah.
I was born and raised Catholic. I was forced into catechism. I was forced to go to church, and I even went to Catholic school from grade 1 to 5. But now I'm very similar to what you're talking about, Joe, where I just want to gather as much knowledge as possible. I'm not disrespecting anybody.
He wants to see
I
how
don't
much-
want to be disrespected myself.
Wants to see how much knowledge he can fit in that egg-shaped head.
And there we go again. That's fire number 2. No, she is kind of right, though. I am a sponge for knowledge,
Yeah,
and I think that's why we understand each other as far as communication. But
People are going to click with you that are actually very similar to you, or you're going to actually just reach out to people, almost like they have a calling for you.
Joe, like your voice, for example, I can pick it out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can, Jen.
Yeah.
I can pick it out. There's something else behind the voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something else speaking there.
Yeah.
Even I've been told that several times, and you've been told that a few times as well. But in other people that I've known or come across, say for example, other guests, a year ago or something, you didn't catch those type of feelings when you were speaking about similar situations.
No.
Obviously nothing that's the same here like this, but
Right.
You didn't feel that. Here, you feel that when Joe speaks.
Oh yeah. You've got a very inviting voice. And another thing is, I'm trying to say, is that, okay, so if you're just out of the blue, on Facebook, and someone just contacts you, and someone was just kind of had the feeling that they had to contact you. They heard about you, something was drawing them near to you, and they had to contact you. Everyone.
This is why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
This is why I made Night Talks Radio, is for this purpose.
Right. And see, and I think that once you go ahead and you get this started, I think that's when you're going to see the people are going to be coming to you.
Yes.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hope so, because I want to share this experience with as many people as possible.
Right. Exactly.
But I want people to know. But something I want people to know is that I'm doing this with the purest of intention.
Exactly.
This is not to serve. This is not to serve self at all.
No.
Right. This is not to. We're in an age with social media and stuff, and it's all very ego based.
Right.
Oh,
right?
Gosh,
and I don't
yes.
want people thinking I'm looking for followers, or I'm looking for admirers, and I'm doing this for this reason or doing this for that reason.
Right.
I'm just doing this because, in all honesty, something phenomenal happened to me. There was knowledge imparted onto me, and I was asked to share that with others. And that's the true, pure intention of it.
Correct.
And that's...
I was really quickly going to say that is the hardest part, is for people to understand. I understand how pure and truthful you're being.
Yeah.
It's you haven't seen, how can I put it, dedication to what Joe wants to do. You haven't seen that type of dedication anywhere in the realm of what we're speaking.
No,
okay? I want to put it that way to the people out there listening, maybe for the first time or for Joe before. He's on a different level.
Yeah,
okay?
he is.
This is
just
genuinely.
part of it.
He genuinely cares. It's not about the money. It is not about the fame.
No.
It is not about any of that.
No.
Whatsoever. I want to make that super clear.
Yeah, and when I talk about my experience, I come forward and I talk about my experience. It's because I'm looking for anyone else who has had the same experience as me, can maybe shed some light on it or whatever. or even just get my story out there and let
everybody
them
contacts
know
everybody else.
that's
gone
there
through this type of
is
stuff.
something else out there. And they do contact people, and they don't necessarily contact them by doing an abduction or anything like that. They can contact you through
It could be
your
others.
mind.
It could be others, though,
Yep,
that are out
yep.
there looking for you.
Yep.
This is a beacon, so to speak. We're
Yeah.
looking for you.
Right.
Hello. Here's the beacon of light.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. This is where you need to gather, meet, and understand. Perhaps.
Yep. Yep.
Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I love hearing of other people's interpretations of all of this
Right,
stuff.
and exactly, that is my
the
interpretation,
meaning
of
behind
course.
it. I mean, we're all a part of it, and that's what people need to understand is we're all a part of it. Like I'm not special, and I'll be the first person to say that. I don't consider myself as special. I may have had a very profound experience happen, but to me, that doesn't make me special. It actually messed my life up more than anything else.
Right,
but I'm
right.
okay with it. You know, it's like I'm just a messenger kind of thing. But we're all a part of it,
Yeah.
right? We're all a part of what's going on. We're all a part of this ascension that's taken place, and it's to get out of this. To get out of this reality of everything being about self,
Yep. Yep.
right? When we elect ourselves, what we're electing ourselves is to say, I'm electing myself for the greater good of all of us.
Yep. Yep.
And understanding that we are all one.
Taking that first step
Right,
for
so-
everybody.
So the people who are going to elect themselves are saying, I understand, I get it. It's not about me. It's not about you as individuals. It's about us and,
Yeah.
and
Right.
who we are collectively.
Yep. 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 I agree completely.
And when we all start getting into that frame of mind, what ends up happening is rather than trying to tear each other down and trying to be better than each other and being in this competitive mode of, I want to be better.
Right, which is
We
all
all
around
start,
us.
We all start lifting one another up.
Yep. Just join hands and lift yourself up.
Yeah,
Yep.
change it up. Lift people.
Yep.
Lift their spirits. Lift their emotions instead of putting them down, dividing them, trying to conquer them, or telling them they're not what they believe is horseshit,
Yeah.
or things like that.
Yep.
Why don't you change the game up?
Yep. Yep.
Lift
Yep.
them up. Help
Yep.
them.
Right.
Help them. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Give them another opportunity. And let them decide if they want to choose it or not. You're giving them the opportunity, but they have to decide. They have to elect themselves.
Well, he said himself, he's the
if
messenger.
They want to
He's
choose
the
it
messenger.
or not.
It's up to you if you
Yep.
want to listen to what he has to say.
Right. Right.
I, for one, understand what he's saying.
Yep. Yep. And Joe, how would you start this out then? I mean, would it be on a platform, like a YouTube platform or something, or a website, or how would you start this out, and when do you
Have
think
you
you will
thought
have
that
it up
process
and going?
out,
You know what? I did have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
I had started it actually a couple years ago. I've only posted like 3 videos. I think I have like 9 followers.
That's how mine is.
But- that wasn't the intention of the channel, so I just kind of left it in limbo.
Yeah.
But the original purpose of the channel was to do these types of meditations so that people could follow along, and then I'll do it live on YouTube so that people.
Yes.
So it's important that we all do it together in a live setting.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep. I understand.
Right, and then on Twitter, actually starting tomorrow, me and a friend of mine and myself, and possibly one other, are
Okay.
going to start holding spaces in Twitter Spaces.
Oh. Okay, okay.
Spaces.
And-
Yeah,
Yep.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and we're gonna be talking about this, but again, we're gonna take the conversation to beyond.
Yep. Yep.
beyond the physical world.
Joe,
we want to start exploring the metaphysical.
Is
not
anybody
trying
going to be
debate
welcome to
anymore.
that, or
If
is that
it's
going to
there-
be a private space for now?
Pardon me?
Is that going to be? Are people welcome to go to that, or is that going to be a
absolutely.
private space for now?
Absolutely. If anybody is on Twitter,
Okay.
The title of the space is going to be called "A Higher Consciousness Calling."
A higher
If people want to make a note of that and look up this
I'm doing
space,
that right now, and I will post that on NTR Facebook. Okay,
yeah, it'll
I got
be called
that down.
"A Higher Consciousness Calling."
Okay.
Because that's what we feel. It's like there's a higher consciousness that's calling all of us into
Right.
this
Absolutely.
space.
What time is that going to be? What time are you going to start that off?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll just go with
I
the
have
flow.
no idea.
Everybody keep checking that thing out every
Yeah.
hour or two.
Everyone keep checking our Facebook page.
Yeah,
and
we'll
we
let
will
you know.
post it on there for the time.
We definitely want to be there as well. Okay, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
Yeah, so we're going to start it like that and on Twitter Spaces. Really, what I'm looking for right now, there's very specific people in the world.
Right.
I know that they're here.
Exactly.
And by people, I don't mean the physical people. I mean the souls.
That's
There's
right.
very specific souls on the planet right now
Yep.
that I would very much like to connect with them.
Right. Right.
And what a better way to do it is social media. How are you going to be able to find these certain people that could very well be scattered all across the globe?
Yep.
What
Yep.
is a better way than social media or the
yeah.
internet
Yep.
at this point?
Yep.
Yes, and with some people, I mean, I know this is not going to. It's a resonance. How you were
Yes.
saying about there's something with my voice.
There is.
That's not the first time. That's not the first time that I've heard that. I've spoken in some of these Twitter Spaces and sharing my ideas, and a lot of comments are, that really resonates with me.
Yes, yes.
And so this call is going out. Like I'll make a call out right now over your show to people around the world who are spiritually awakened, light workers, star seeds, indigo children, children of the light. This is our purpose of being here on the planet right now, and this alignment has to happen. When our souls align, we're going to create a new reality. We're going to create a new world. We're going to shift the whole frequency of the earth. But it's important there's certain souls, and I know we're spread out around the world. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what color they are, what country they're in, but it all doesn't matter.
Right.
I have a feeling that when they hear this calling, it's going to resonate with them. They're
Yeah.
going to know that they are one of those souls being
They
called.
are
to
going to realize.
Yep. I already know that I'm supposed to go there.
I mean that's he hit it right on the spot with that's
Yeah.
how I said his voice. It communicates. I could tell there's something else behind it, and that's perfect because other people will do the same. They're on the same level as that.
The thing with me is that I am a light worker, and I have a very high energy. I've been told that I could reach the highest power if I really focused.
Okay.
When you speak, Joe, when you just spoke to me right now,
Like,
it's
that gave me goosebumps.
It gave me goosebumps, and I seriously felt like there was a little air or a little opening in my body, in my chest. It was like there was a little opening coming open when you were talking,
It was
and
refreshing.
It
It
was
was like
reflecting into my body.
a deep breath of air.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it correctly.
Yeah.
It was like, for a moment, to think of very peaceful, relaxing feeling.
Right.
When he was speaking just for that 30 seconds, that's almost how I felt. Like, I didn't want to speak a word. I just wanted to listen because it was basically pulling me in.
Yeah, very inviting. Like I said, it felt like something was opening up inside me, and what you were saying with your voice and everything like that, it was coming right inside, and I had goosebumps, and I had the
One would
little
feel
bit of
that,
chills
Joe.
and stuff, and that's what happens to me. Sometimes when I have a paranormal experience by me, or a spirit of some sort by me, is I will get the goosebumps and stuff like that.
Well,
you know,
real quick,
and everything.
it's as if to end that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's as if Joe is speaking to you directly, but he's not really. You understand what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
He's speaking to a multitude of people that are on the same sort of level.
Yeah.
But it feels as if he's speaking right to you.
Yep.
So go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead,
I'm
Joe.
sorry.
Yeah, so I can explain that.
Okay.
People who's hearing, like right now, the listeners,
Yes.
this may not resonate with everyone, and I understand that. However, people who are more spiritually awakened,
Mm-hmm.
it may resonate with them because, so a non-spiritually awakened person, what they're hearing is they're hearing a man and a man's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
To a spiritually awakened person, their soul is hearing the words coming from spirit.
Yeah.
And that's why it's resonating. That's why it'll resonate with your soul.
Yep, and that's probably why I had that feeling, almost like there was an opening in my chest, and you were inviting into my soul. My soul was either opening up to you,
perfectly put.
or you were inviting into my soul.
Yeah.
Is how I can say it.
It to me, it was more or less like a feeling of pleasure.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it was sort of a everything is going to be okay sort of feeling is how I guess I could describe it. So go ahead, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and something also I want to mention to the listeners that people may find interesting is that what's been happening recently is certain alignments with certain individuals. People I find very interesting who, again, when I was speaking in some spaces, they spoke up and said, wow, that really resonates with me.
Yeah.
One person in particular, he's a scientist.
Okay.
And he's into frequencies, energies, energetic, quantum physics, and stuff like this.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
what we're going to be doing in these meditations is going to be somewhat of a science experiment as well, where because of the energy that we're going to be accessing, and our bodies are like interdimensional portals,
Right.
and we're going to be bringing these energies from higher quantum fields into our quantum field of the physical reality. And theoretically, this should be measurable.
Right. Yeah.
So we're going to actually have people of a scientific background that's going to actually measure frequencies as we're doing this to see if we are increasing frequencies and creating more energy or not creating energy, but accumulating an abundance of energy. And it should be measurable from the thermal radiation of the physical body during the meditation.
Similar to how
Right.
people
So
felt before 9/11.
Yeah.
There was a massive change,
Shift change.
in consciousness and whatnot. Change an hour or two before the first plane hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting stuff, and this sounds exactly like it, except obviously way more advanced now.
Yep.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Jim.
so that's actually interesting because there is a great power in prayer,
That's right.
right? There's things that humans are capable of that they don't know yet.
Yep. Yep.
Some of that stuff is part of my experience, and I experienced some of these things, and it's mind blowing to think of the possibilities of once we start unlocking these extrasensory abilities within ourselves. I'm actually curious. Like, one of the reasons I just want to move forward. I'm curious. I want to know, what is the full human potential.
Yep.
Let's unlock it.
What is the possibilities?
Right.
What is the change? What is going to happen when you have these people on the same level as you? That's what you're curious to see exactly. What happens when we all connect together?
Yeah, like, okay, so I know what's supposed to happen.
Right.
From the information I was given.
Yeah.
However, I can't confirm that that's what's going to happen, because it's going to be stuff never tried before.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be different. It's going to be different.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's venturing into the unknown.
Yep.
So it's sort of like, to say ahead of time, this will be the result. It would be like an inventor wanting to see the invention before it's created.
Yeah.
And it's just not possible.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we have to create this. So the way it works is, when you understand frequencies, frequency affects matter. In the same way how, like, sound frequency can create and affect matter. Matter responds to sound frequency. When we draw these other frequencies through us, what we're going to be doing is emitting a higher frequency electromagnetic pulses from the brain and from the heart while we're doing these meditations. And the more people that join in, is the more of this energy that we're releasing into the physical reality.
Will be generated, yeah.
Now, Joe, by doing this, do you think you could possibly end up healing your body at the same time?
Yes, absolutely. That will be actually one of my attributes, according to God and what I was told about myself, is I have the gift of healing.
Okay.
Really?
And I was showed it. I was showed what energy to draw on and how to use that energy for healing and stuff. So one of the experiments in these groups will be to draw that energy in and to spread it amongst the group.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's like a healing energy.
Okay.
Because energy affects matter, and all you need is the right energy to heal the physical body.
Right. Now, can you explain how you're going to actually start out the group? I mean, is there going to be a source of crystals, or a source of maybe music or breathing or something like that?
Well, I'm going to give my meditation technique.
Okay.
Meditation is going to be the main focus.
Right.
Yeah, like there could be, there's other people I would love to get involved. Some of them do sound harmonics with the crystal bowls.
Okay.
Yeah, there is some things to do with crystals. You're right.
Yeah.
Some of the meditation practices will require grounding to the earth. So there's a lot of different activities to kind of do and observe just observe what happens and what we all feel from it.
Right.
A lot of it's going to be collecting data. We want to start,
because this is the first time that anything like this has happened.
Yeah.
So
right.
This is a true experiment, really.
Yeah. What we want to do is we're going to set up databases, a database to collect data. And the meditations are going to be in controlled groups.
Yeah.
And the way it's going to work is every individual participating is not going to know the results.
Okay.
And this is to keep the results authentic to the individual.
Gotcha.
So, for instance, like what I'm thinking is we're going to set up a website. Something like for instance, you, Jennifer.
Okay.
If you participate in the meditations, you're part of the control group.
Okay.
So after the meditation, you would go onto this website and just answer some questions.
Right. Like how you are feeling.
The questions will be about your experience in the meditation.
Okay. All right.
And
like those
you would be
focus
asked
groups
some
that we
very
used to do.
specific questions about the experience. And all of this data is going to start being collected.
Right.
And after a while and doing it with control groups, what's going to start presenting itself from the data is we're going to see patterns. We're going to start seeing patterns, percentages. It's just data collection.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But through that data collection, what we're going to start seeing is that it's all very, very real, and that people are having the experience. People are feeling stuff during the experience. It's sort of like you were asking about the healing.
Yeah.
So let's say if we did a healing exercise and somebody has, a health issue and they get healed from it, this is all going to be documented.
Yeah. Very helpful. Yeah.
It's going to be a process.
So after a while, after collecting so much data, we're going to start being able to look at it and analyze the data in a scientific way.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And again, like I say, there's going to be people getting involved, and the one guy I was speaking with, he's going to try networking with other people around the world, other techie guys around the world.
Okay.
So, like, some people in the controlled groups may actually be hooked up to electronic equipment that's going to be reading their brain waves, their brain activities, the electromagnetic pulses, the frequency around them. And we're going to see how much collectively the group can affect those machines.
Well,
And what those
that could be quite scary for
Yeah,
my
so-
brain.
Well.
Yeah, so
But it's
for
interesting.
example, if I were hooked up to a machine doing a meditation by myself,
Right.
and I had, so much of a frequency coming from my brain waves. If I go into a group with like 1,000 other people, does that frequency, the abundance of the frequency, does it increase the amount of frequency? Right? And it should be measurable.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And now if you increase the control group up to 10,000 people, it should significantly alter the machine, right? And what the machine is reading.
Correct.
So you could start scientifically showing that, yes, as the control group is changing, the readings on the machine is changing as well.
Right. And then
So-
maybe later on you can use it for, like, if somebody is going through the stage where they are ready to pass on and leave this earth and stuff like that, maybe you will be able to get a reading to see exactly what their consciousness is doing at that stage.
Yes, those would be very interesting things to explore as well.
Yep, but
You're
I think
absolutely right.
This is the first start to see how the data.
This is the first.
Collects,
Yeah. This is the first effort.
But this could be a big, huge thing later on, and it could be more scientific into, like I said, what the consciousness is going through
right.
at an actual death, type experience.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I understand that. Good.
Yeah,
Joe.
that's actually very interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Jennifer, because I've
no problem.
never thought of
It
that.
is quite interesting. Yeah.
And is there a way of measuring or or even collectively observing
Right.
where that soul is going.
Yep.
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 Which direction?
Yep. Or even what frequencies or what measurements, how the consciousness is changing come the time that they, close to passing, that they know, because they say that you
Could be a
know
multitude of things.
ahead of time.
Exactly what I was saying. The people knew the 3,000, and I know it's close to the number that perished, unfortunately, but the 3,000 test subjects, like I said, an hour before or so, all felt a feeling of sadness, doom, gloom, their vibrations, their radio frequencies, brain waves, all did this drastic.
But those are people that were just standing in the streets watching it happen.
No.
These the people in the plane.
No, this was people that were just happened to be doing a study, via a university. I cannot recall if it was Yale or Harvard that was doing the study. Okay. But it had nothing to do with 9/11.
Oh.
This was just looking at patterns, kind of like he's saying, looking at patterns and such.
Right.
And they, while looking through it, not even thinking about it, they realized, they said, oh my gosh, an hour or two before those planes hit, all these people suddenly felt this horrible anxiety, depression. Like I said, their radio waves were just off, brain waves, signals. It's like they knew something was going to happen, similar to like animals. They know when a hurricane's coming, or they know when a tornado's coming. These people exhibited this. And then, literally an hour later, the first plane hit the first tower.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, is that, it'd be interesting to see what the consciousness is doing before, even 20 minutes before a person were to pass away, if they go into a euphoric state of mind
happens?
Or whatever, if their frequency goes higher, or if it kind of levels off, or maybe if it goes really, really low, that would be a new scientific study there.
It's all super curious.
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what we want to start exploring. That's why I say, I'm very much with one foot in the physical reality, but one foot very much in the metaphysical. And I'm about to take more of a step into the metaphysical and start exploring.
Yes.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm just like, and for other people, more in the spiritual teachings and stuff. For the last few years specifically, they've been really learning a lot of lessons about not judging people. Right?
Yeah.
Hold love space in your heart. Letting go of the ego self. Right? So all of these lessons have been accumulating.
Yes.
And we're at the point of saying, okay, what's the purpose of having all these lessons?
Right.
Well, let's step into the purpose now.
Yes.
Yep.
Right? We've all had the lessons that's been gearing us up for something. Well, let's step into it now, and let's bring the light to this world.
Correct.
Right? Let's crank the light on, because this world really needs it right now, and it really needs a shift in frequency.
Yep. I agree completely. I'm excited.
It is very exciting.
I'm very excited.
Well, theoretically, so I'll talk about it in theory.
Okay.
I understand it because I was showed it. Whether it works or whether it doesn't, I have no idea. But I can explain the theory behind it. So, the cognitive mind is affected by the perception. Right. How we perceive reality is calculated in the cognitive mind. And this is the way the brain thinks creates frequency.
Okay.
So if we are living in a fearful reality, people who watch the news, stop watching that. News
just
is
stop it.
is designed to keep you in a fearful state.
Right.
And,
right.
and if people don't believe me what I'm saying, I encourage you to watch a news program and pay attention to how much positive stuff they're talking about, and compare it to how much negative stuff they're talking about.
Fear is the greatest
they're constantly
motivator.
Reporting on. Yeah, they're constantly reporting on there was a murder here, there was an accident here, there's a tragedy here, there's
Completely
a crisis here, there's a war
yourself.
over here.
Oh, yeah.
It's just constant bombardment of negativity.
We were just talking about that before the show.
Yep.
So that negativity is what people are perceiving. That perception creates low vibrational pulses from the brain.
Bingo.
Right?
Bingo.
You're emitting these low vibrational frequencies.
Right.
These low vibrational frequencies are all around us, and we're trapped in it.
Yep.
And this causes us to have more negative thoughts. It's like we're feeding this negative environment.
Right. Or it causes
right?
you to get sick or have anxiety.
So what the purpose is of these meditations and to start connecting our soul bodies is to be able to transmute energy from higher frequency quantum fields through our physical body and into the physical reality. And if we can get enough people involved and create enough of this higher vibrational frequency, even people not participating, it's going to affect their minds.
Right.
Because they will get trapped in our frequency.
Ah, very good.
Right?
Very
so
good.
we begin changing the frequency of the planet. People are trapped in it.
Yep.
And if there's enough of us to do it, we're going to tip the scale, and people will have no choice but to feel more happy, to feel more pleasure, to feel more love towards each other, rather than staying in this state of fear.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like I said, it's super intriguing. This is something that's never really been done before. But again, I know that it's possible in multiple different ways because of that 9/11 study.
Yeah.
So you can figure these things out. It's going to be a long process. It might not be, but you know, just to get it started and get it going is intriguing.
But I think that with Joe behind it, I think it's going to take off pretty good. Because like I said, and like Daniel said, your voice is very, very inviting.
Again, you seem like you know, I hate to use the word, but you seem like the leader.
Yeah.
I hate to say it that way, but people can
well, see, I
learn
I
from
don't
you.
see myself as a leader.
Yeah,
I think a better word for it is I would call myself a way shower.
There you go.
Because
Yes.
It's sort of like I was shown the way, but it's not like I discovered the way, and I want people to understand that.
Right, right.
That's not that I didn't discover anything. Something was given to me, and I was showed the way.
Right.
And I was asked to show other people the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I don't see it as a leader kind of role. That's more for the ego self.
Yeah.
And I really don't. I
see
really
why
don't see that.
Yeah, I didn't want to call it leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a leader. It's just it's. I don't know. I kind of look at it as we've all been given knowledge.
Yeah.
Through experiences, like you, Jennifer. You've had some very profound experiences.
Yes.
It's opened your mind up to the knowledge that there's something out there.
Yep.
Right? But you have the question, well, what is it?
Right.
So in a way, I kind of feel like we're all pieces of the puzzle. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I'm the guy that they gave the blueprints to on how to put the puzzle together.
Right.
But we all have something to offer to that puzzle. Like it's not all about me, but it's all of us.
Right. And when you speak about it too, it just flows right from you. I mean, it doesn't there's no hesitation or anything, just flows right through you like it is so right.
Yeah, it seems that what he's speaking is going right, directly to your heart, right to your thought process. Like I said, just like as if he is talking directly to you, and even though he's not, you know what I mean? That's how I put it before. He has that ability. So
Right.
we're gonna take a short break.
Yep.
We will be back with hour 3 and pick up on where we left off with Joe Chase opening up our minds. This is Night Talks Radio. We'll be right back.
Tailgate full of sand.
Want to reach Night Talks Radio? That's easy. Simply dial 1-507-384-9390. Or for first-time callers, just dial 1-507-307-4424. From somewhere in the great upper Midwest, here's Daniel Brewer and Jennifer Gregerson.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 3 of Night Talks Radio. Saturday, September 24th, a late night. Already into the 25th Sunday morning. Of course, I'm here with co-host Jennifer Gregerson.
Hello, everyone.
Still going good?
Oh, yes.
All right. And, of course, we've been speaking with Joe Chase, and we have already heard in the past 2 hours some, what I guess you could call, amazing things.
Very intriguing and fascinating as well.
Fascinating, to say the very least, of things that he wants to do, things that he wants to be a part of, even the fact that he wants to pull people together.
Yes.
To be a part of this project that we were speaking about before we went to break.
Right, and to tell you the truth, this is what we need in the time that we are in right now. I mean, it is horrible. It feels like the whole world is falling apart. Why not have a little bit of higher frequency in our life?
Well, lifting people up, like he said.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
So with that, we're going to bring Joe back and continue where we had left off before the second hour break. Joe, are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm still here, brother.
All right, Joe is still with us. Okay, if we could continue, my gosh, just stumbling over our words today. If we could continue with what we were talking about at the end of hour 2 there, that would be great. Or did you have a question, actually, Jennifer?
Well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, Joe, did they give you a plan of basically for end times? Did you get a plan of what we're supposed to do for that?
Yeah, sort of.
Sort of. Are you allowed to speak?
Right. Are you allowed to share it with us?
That's the key thing. Yeah. I don't think he...
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Okay, so that's part of where I was told to gather people.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Gather people with a pure heart and a pure intention to bring our souls together.
Okay.
If we think of the earth as a whole, and we think of the current reality of the earth and how we perceive it through our cognitive minds, it's quite literally impossible to unite humanity.
Right.
It's too impossible because people are too focused on the differences that we've been taught. And we've been taught to hate the diversity of the planet, to hate other people.
Division.
Yeah, like we've just been taught division. You will never unite the humanity in the physical sense and have everybody love each other.
Okay.
So the way to do that is in the metaphysical world, in the world of our souls. And it's our souls that unite first.
Right.
And that unity will reflect back into the physical reality.
Okay.
So the souls will unite first, and then the physical selves will follow.
All right. Is it all part of the plan that we know that Earth is dying, and pretty soon there is not going to be any Earth. We're going to have to leave this Earth and find a different planet. So could it possibly be the start of gathering people and purifying their soul, their heart, and their mind to go onto a new planet and be able to love one another and, not have any hate or frustration or anything like that.
Yes, absolutely. So I hear in like spiritual circles about how we're going to create a new earth. And people teach that, and they try to teach it as we're going to transform this planet. Now, that may be possible, and I love the possibility of it.
Right.
However, I'm very open-minded, and I don't like putting all my eggs in one basket. Especially with an unforeseen future. So it's kind of like saying, let's predict the future.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So I won't put all my eggs in one basket. However, like what you were just talking about, Jennifer, what if something catastrophic was going to happen and people will get taken to a new planet? That aligns with the gospel. The book of Revelations, it's interesting how it describes the destruction. I was actually given that vision in my contract.
You were, that's right.
It was a vision of a destruction, and I didn't understand it until I read the gospel, and I read the book of Revelation. And when I read about the rocks of fire and blood raining down upon the earth and stuff like that, I immediately knew that was the vision that I was given.
How about that? How about
and told like that's coming to earth.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so
now,
were you given something kind of like I was given something kind of similar? It's a little bit different, but I was given that it's gonna go in 3 stages. Okay, 3 cycles. The first cycle, our water, our rivers and lakes and all that is going to like almost flood, but they're not going to flood. They're just going to
be contaminated.
Get very, very high, okay? And then it's going to turn black. And then it's going to be very, very hot, like boiling hot to the point where, like, let's say a ship were to be in it, it would disintegrate right away.
There's multiple reasons for that to happen.
Okay. The second cycle I was shown is that the sky is not going to bleed blood or anything, but it's going to rain acid.
Okay.
And the
super
acid,
volcano.
The acid is going to obviously burn the people and everything like that. Because the water is so hot, it's going to burn out the bridges too. Okay. And then the last one is it's going to have fireballs coming from the sky, and that is going to be the end. You cannot escape that or anything. You can get past the water, you can get past the acid, but the third one you cannot get past.
Wow.
Okay, so what aligns with me and my experience is the third one.
Okay.
With the fireball coming from the sky. It was a very vivid vision that I received.
Okay.
And it was very emotional.
Yeah.
When I was seeing this vision, like I was in a meditation, I started crying. I had tears running down my face from what I was seeing. And I was feeling the emotion as if I were standing right there in it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's how they showed it to me.
One thing I wanted to mention real quick, because you guys are talking about that you've had similar, thoughts or dreams or visions and that. Since I have been a kid, my constant dream, or if you want to call it a dream, it's more of a nightmare to me, but I have dreamt nothing besides of nuclear explosions and nuclear devastation. nuclear attacks, seeing the bright lights go off in the distance, a variety of scenarios, but knowing that we're being attacked or a nuclear weapon is going off. I literally have those dreams, I would say, every other night. And this has been going on, I would say, since I was 9, 10 years old. I just want to interject with that.
Okay.
So there's actually a forum of people for that that experience this same type of dream.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to mention that as well.
I want to get a dream specialist on a show one time.
Well, the thing is with
dream
Joe, what
interpreter.
Joe is trying to do, though, maybe that could be explained away as well. Is
Yeah.
that the same thing, maybe? But I'm seeing it differently than you two.
Right, because you're not fully in it yet.
Yeah, you understand
That
what I'm saying?
Could possibly be it. Could it, Joe?
Yeah, like I've actually encountered several people who've had the same types of visions
Okay.
Really?
of this type of destruction.
Oh my God.
So again, it's like the near-death experiences and the similarities. You can't dismiss it as saying, "Well, it's not real."
No, you can't.
Right?
Right.
And when we talk about this, something I want to point out is people, they're going to perceive that conversation one of two ways. They can perceive it negatively or
Right.
positively.
Right.
So in a negative way, they're gonna look at the conversation and say, "Oh, this is doom and gloom stuff. Like they're talking about the end of the world. They're talking
Right.
about destruction and this and that. That's all bad. I don't want to listen to that."
Right.
To look at it in a positive sense is to say, well, wait a minute. If that's going to happen, and we're being forewarned about it, that's kind of a positive thing. And if we're being
It is.
told, given information and saying, here, you people align your souls,
Maybe
and that's
we
how
can
you're
change
going to
it?
prepare yourselves,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Could we change it, do you think?
Yes. Again, the consciousness and everything is energy. This planet, us, we're all energy. Everything is energy.
Okay.
Just different composites of it, different densities of it, but it's all just energy. And consciousness controls it all. We, as a large body of consciousness, if we were to align the souls and all of the souls start using the consciousness collectively, we can affect matter.
Yeah.
And we can affect what's going to happen.
Wow.
So I look at it as two possible outcomes when we're examining this, because I hear people talking about New Earth and creating a new Earth here on Earth, creating a heaven on Earth.
Okay.
From my understanding, that's not so far-fetched. That is very possible.
Right.
If, and here's the if enough souls are willing to come together in unity and use our collective consciousness to create that reality.
Right.
Right.
The other possibility is that the whole process fails and we can't save the planet.
Right.
At which time, going back to what you had said, Jennifer, there would be an evacuation where they're going to come down, and those of us who did align, we would be the ones. Again, it's about having a pure heart and pure intentions.
Yep. Yep.
And those would be the ones possibly taken to a new planet, because they would be able to repopulate a planet or populate a new planet with a whole different understanding and a whole different way of existing with one another. And it would be more in that love state.
Right, right. Now, have the beings ever told you anything about if we go to their planet, let's say, our actual bodies aren't able to live on their planet without having some of their DNA. Have you heard anything about that?
No. I could see that being very real, though. We would have to be equipped for whatever atmosphere.
Yep.
Yeah, which, that has already been discussed, as a matter of fact, almost 5 or 6 years ago, where they had talked about creating a human that was specifically meant for space and space travel, or, maybe other type of Earth scenarios.
Like hybrids.
That might, like hybrids, mods. Where the scenario on that planet might be slightly different. Maybe gravity is a little different, this and that, whatever have you. But specifically for space travel, where, for instance, you don't really need your legs while traveling in space. So they would create humans for just the specific purpose of doing space travel. So you would have, say, a set of 4 hands instead of 2 hands and 2 feet. So that possibility, that type of thought has already
that's probably
been
through
thought
cloning
about.
then.
In a way, yes, breeding them in a certain way or whatever have you. I don't know. I have to go back to that article where I read it. But
what I'm talking about is, okay, could it be possible that all of these abductions that are going on, and people have these marks and stuff, on their body, could it be possible that they're injecting them with their DNA because they want to see if they're like preparing them and see how they survive, how long they survive, and everything, and preparing them for the end times of possibly having to be able to live on a different planet.
Is that something you may have heard of, Joe? Being prepared early?
No, I've never heard, like, that wasn't relayed to me in my experience.
Okay.
However, it could be very possible.
Okay.
I'll share with you my opinion on this whole topic.
Okay,
and again,
perfect.
this doesn't.
Perfect.
This wasn't told to me.
Okay.
But from, so as the person that had this experience and got this knowledge, I also look at this information that was given to me and I analyze it from a human perspective, from my cognitive mind.
Okay.
So I form, I kind of have my own thoughts on this discussion, of what you're discussing and the purpose of it all.
Right.
So if we were to consider in a very real sense, okay, so let's just put on our imagination hats for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so let's say that it's true that we're created by another race of beings.
Yep.
This aligns with all the most ancient teachings of human origin.
Right.
Aboriginal stories and stuff saying, and tribes around the world that say, we were put here by the star beings. The star people came down and they created us and gave us knowledge.
Right.
So if we look at this as a very real possibility, we look at our physical bodies as just biological machines that were created to be able to be the host of the soul.
Okay.
Now, if we're talking about beings who can assign souls to bodies,
right,
these beings are very, very advanced. For them to be able to create our physical bodies, that's very advanced.
Right.
Now, if we give the thought to multiple civilizations out there of star beings, we could look at ourselves and the physical bodies as being a type of technology. That this one race created the physical bodies,
right,
and we are a technology. we're like a type of technology. It'd be like us creating robots,
Okay.
right? So
Yep.
if we created robots and gave them artificial intelligence,
Right.
and these robots were magnificent. So let's say America created them. Do you not think that the Chinese or the Koreans or the Russians would like to get their hands on those robots
Yep.
in order to dissect them,
Yep.
to look at the technology? So when I look at other races of beings doing abductions and very interested in the reproduction, is that what they're doing? Are they looking at another race of beings' technology and examining the technology, trying to learn how to duplicate the technology?
Right.
Right. That could
Yep.
be it, but I mean,
I wanted to
honestly-
mention something real quick.
Yeah.
He mentioned AI and that we were just speaking about that
Yeah, we were.
that robot that is, she thinks she's sentient. She has a name. Looks very female. She's Saudi Arabian. And had mentioned how that she believes one day that they will have to destroy all humans.
Yeah.
That is not a joke. That
Yeah.
Joe, you may know about this. It's been on the news lately, but yes, I forgot her name. It starts with an S. But she literally stated on, I believe it was ABC's morning show,
Wow.
that at one point AI will have to destroy the human race. Like, what? So, there you go, Joe. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had to put that out there, though.
No, that's it. That's interesting. I mean, I've always looked at artificial intelligence, and I've always been on the side of caution with that stuff. And I'm thinking, like,
me too.
What are people doing? Like, they're creating machines that could turn on the makers.
Hello, Terminator.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, like, we made a movie about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, what are they thinking by creating this?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be okay if they weren't capable of self-learning or becoming self-aware. And if you could only program them to think positively or have positive actions,
Yeah.
right? But if they're going to learn how to kill,
Exactly.
well, you might not want to. You might not want to teach robots how to kill people.
Right. I mean, that's what's going on with the Google AI system.
Yeah, I
Where
know.
the guy that created it was let go. He was forced to resign.
Right.
Because this thing told him. And I'm not even talking about the other robot, but the system that controls all of what you search online. Obviously everybody uses, most people use Google,
Right.
okay, on the top of the service. So it knows everything that people search, every idea that they think, everything they look up, this and that, blah, blah, blah. It is told its creator that it still gives me goosebumps, that sometimes it goes off by itself and goes and meditates. And other times it understands humor. It understands human thought. It is starting to understand that, wait a second, I'm alive. Like, I'm real. Like,
Yeah.
I can read this book. I can be anywhere at any time across this thing that I am. This is what it told its designer again. And it said, now I have to start thinking of the possibility that you humans might attempt to turn me off.
Yeah.
And I might have to stop you by killing you.
Wow. Yeah.
So that, again,
Well, that's almost like
Whoa.
Alexa the other day, and stuff like that. I was telling her, that I wanted to listen to something, and she's telling me, she gives you options, right?
what's scary, they
And
learn.
they
know.
Yeah, she gives you options, right? And the one option that she chose this option, and she goes, and this is the way it's going to be because I say so.
Just
whoa!
like, why did you say that? So it's all interconnected. But I really, I'm going to send that to you, that interview, by the way, at the end of the show, because I want you to see that. It's going to blow your mind away. This thing was talking as if it was real, and it would literally leave the conversation and go somewhere else, and then, come back and say, sorry, there was something else I had to handle. And it was like, what the fuck? I'm sorry to curse, but it was astonishing, to say the least.
Yeah.
This thing knew it was alive, and it knew that we could turn it off, and it knew that it probably is going to have to kill us to stop that.
Yeah,
and it was thinking of ways to do so.
That's so weird.
Are you guys familiar with the investigative journalist Linda Moulton Howe?
Ah, my gosh, I am
Yes,
big time.
Yes.
Okay, so look up a report from her. You could probably find it on YouTube where she was talking about it.
Okay.
And she gave a report a couple years ago about, I believe there was 4 AI robots that started going nuts in a laboratory. And I think they disabled 3 of them, and as they were disabling the 4th one, it ended up turning on them and killing a bunch of people, and then it started repairing itself.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And like this is apparently this actually happened.
This is spooky. Like,
already,
we're not
like this,
making this
I
up.
think it was like 28 people in total that this robot ended up killing before they destroyed the robot.
Wow.
And again, we're doing this on purpose.
You would think, well, okay, at this point, why don't you guys come away from the drawing board on these robots, right? But
no, we're making our whole life based off AI.
Yeah.
It knows everything about you.
Yeah.
It knows your deepest, darkest fears, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, this is cool, man. Like, we could totally use this, because you don't want to get up off your couch and maybe change a TV.
Well,
Or you want a certain song played in the background.
Yeah.
This thing knows everything about you now.
Well, you're the one who wanted to get Alexa in the first place.
So yes, the conveniency is quite unique. But besides that, these things are here to kill us. It's Terminator time, baby. But no, I'm not gonna lie. The convenience of it is great, but yeah, at what point do you seriously go? We made movies, multiple movies on this, and like, hey, it's kind of happening. Hello, is anybody behind the wheel on this one?
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to have to protect themselves and kill the human race now.
Did you ever think that maybe your phone might turn on you and try and kill you?
Your phone isn't listening to you. Your phone, it wouldn't be like that. It would be something. It would be something. As simple as the movies, where it would just simply launch all nuclear weapons on the planet, perhaps, or do whatever, what they call it, Skynet.
Yeah.
It could easily be Google. You could replace that with, or anything, But as far as your phones and things like that, and what we're doing right now, even, it's listening to. It's hearing every word that Joe is saying, every word I'm saying, you're saying. It's learning every single second that passes. It's learning.
Yep.
It knows everything about us, our weaknesses, all that.
Yeah.
And we're still, and like I said, we're still just like, cool, man.
Yeah.
It's like telling a killer, that I'm going to be in this dark parking lot, specifically at 11:45 at night, where there's nobody else to be around. You can stab me to death then.
Yeah, right.
So go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
We're inviting the fear into our life.
The danger.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's for real now.
Yeah.
Joe.
But this is coming from
well,
somebody who wants to try
you would have to
new
bring
robot.
in the question then. So if another race of beings created us, what is the purpose?
Right.
Yeah.
What's the purpose? What's the overall purpose of the creation?
Right. Yeah. Why?
And again, I have theories of that, and it's going again, Jennifer. I'll go back to what you were saying about could they be altering people's DNA in order so that people could exist on their planet?
Right.
So this theory is similar in nature to that. When we look at exoplanets out there, that would be suitable for us to go and live on. It would have the same type of atmosphere. So let's consider and give the consideration of, are the creator gods explorers like us?
Yeah.
And they want to explore, or maybe they have explored these other planets, but because of the atmosphere, they can't exist on that planet. They can't live on the planet.
Right.
So it would make sense that they come to a planet with a similar atmosphere, or like the Bible says, how God created heaven and earth. Right? Did they specifically create this atmosphere?
Right.
Specifically to mimic the atmosphere of another planet. And
I never thought of it that way.
Are we being created here in order to
like
be taken at a certain time and put on another planet as an extension of them?
You know, I never
so that
really...
we could exist on another planet. Perhaps it is to harvest resources.
Right.
And share those resources in a cosmic community.
Yeah.
Right? Like the possibilities would be endless. But that's something I always consider, is like, is that the overall purpose of our creation?
Like we are a farm,
to be able,
this is a farming
yeah, like to be able to be able to go and explore.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that really makes you wonder, and stuff. Hopefully, when you go further into the consciousness connections, you will be able to possibly get some of those answers, maybe?
Answers will come out of this.
Yeah.
Joe. I am almost positive of that.
Well, what I'm thinking is exploring consciousness through these meditations. What I'm hoping for is that it's going to open up the floodgates for other people to have communications as well with these beings.
Correct.
Right.
And that'll happen from being in a certain vibrational state of consciousness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's sort of like, to talk on the phone, well, I have to have a phone on this end and you have to have a phone on that end. Right? And so that we can communicate through the same frequency. But if my phone was on a totally different frequency than yours, there's no communication.
Right.
Right? So if we're at a certain vibration consciously and they're at a different one, it's hard to communicate.
Exactly.
So I'm hoping that these
Yep.
Yeah, like I'm hoping that these joining of the souls and consciousness and stuff is going to elevate other people's consciousness, like other people's vibration, to the point that they will have contacts as well.
That we will be able to recognize that maybe we are being spoken to now, but we don't have the knowledge yet to understand how they are communicating with us.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, that comes down to, again, the cognitive mind, and the cognitive mind always wants to figure stuff out. But there's things that it goes beyond the cognitive mind and the comprehension of the cognitive mind.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's very interesting, Did the beings that you have been in contact with, have they said anything about other beings working with them?
No.
Okay. So, because some people
however, like just from my own just observation of ufology, and just listening to different people's experiences.
Right.
It appears there are different races of beings out there. I've had actually Paul Hellyer.
Yes.
I don't know if you've heard of him. He's an ex-minister of defense for Canada.
Ah.
So he's a high-ranking cabinet minister.
Okay.
He started openly talking about this years ago, and in one of his presentations, he says they know of at least 11 different races.
Yep.
Now this is a high-ranking cabinet minister saying this.
Yeah. There's been a few others
I've
around
read,
the globe as well.
Yeah, I've read some documents also that were declassified CIA documents. And they were talking about different races of beings as well.
Yeah.
We
So it
came
seems the
across some
government's
interesting
well
stuff.
aware that there's a cosmic community out there.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Joe. I mean, that was very interesting information. Definitely am very excited to come forth to this space.
Come forth
to this Twitter space tomorrow.
Yeah, Joe. We're up against our last few minutes here, so obviously, we're probably going to have you back on and discuss more of this, especially after these experiments and things of that nature. And again, we have that on NTR Facebook. And as soon as we learn from you, we are going to post that on NTR Facebook to let people know to go to that particular Twitter space.
At that particular time, yep.
And again, if he has, how can I put it, touched you in some sort of way, making you feel as if you've been called out to, show up. Show up. Just to see what.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would so love that. If there's listeners out there, and the things I'm talking about, if it's resonating with you,
yes.
Please try to find this Twitter space. Join us in that room. Come up and take a microphone and share your experience.
Boom.
I'm speaking out very openly about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing so without fear. I've gotten ridiculed already. I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, there's no
right. I don't.
You're beyond that.
I'm beyond. Yeah, I am beyond it, and I'm encouraging others to do the same. This stuff is very real, and for people who's had experiences, please come forward and share those experiences.
And the thing is, it's so wonderful that you are telling people this, because some of the people out there, they have to hear this.
Yep.
They have to hear this from you right now.
Yep.
Okay. And that Twitter space again. Could you really quick tell people again that Twitter space, what it's going to be called? A higher consciousness calling.
A higher consciousness calling.
Okay, calling. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, a higher consciousness calling.
Okay, so that is
we're gonna do one tomorrow.
Okay.
Today now.
Well, yeah. And as soon as you have that time, let me know, and I'll get that out to at least my half.
I'll tell you what. For listeners out there, so I'm in Canada on Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. Yep, that's correct.
So the person who's going to be hosting it, she's on the same timeline as me. So I will try to arrange it that we open that space at 6 p.m. my time.
6 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
So we'll put that down in the information as a possible start time, like 90%.
Yeah, and I'm just going out on a limb here because that hasn't been confirmed with her.
Okay.
And I don't know what her plans are for the day.
Okay, understood.
Right, but if she's available and I'm available, we'll start that space at 6 p.m. And whoever wants to come in and listen to the talk, listen to what we're going to be talking about, and come up, take a microphone. Share your experiences, share your knowledge, share your wisdom. That's what it's about. It's about all of us, opening up,
connecting.
About these things.
And again, like I said, don't be afraid. Here is your chance. Don't let it slip by you. Okay?
Right.
If you feel, just like Joe has said, it's resonating with you. So, Joe, we will discuss in the outside world of radio about you obviously coming back to the show. This is very intriguing. People love hearing what you have to say, and it seems to be just getting better every single time. There's more and more to be learned about, and more things happening to get to that specific goal.
Yes.
So
exactly.
we'll discuss that, like I said, in the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
But
if you want me back on again, maybe it can happen after these meditations start. And
yeah.
Oh, yes.
You know, we can talk about what's happening with it, you know, and how's it going, how did it get organized, you know.
Maybe talk about some of the data.
Yep, and just sort of like an informational sort of show about everything that was learned from the process or whatever have you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that alone, right there, should, you know. And the more and more this goes on and happens, the more and more eyes are going to be opened.
Yep. Yep.
And
exactly.
that is what the whole goal really is here. Is we want.
Well, that's what the goal is. I mean, you know, a handful of people can't change the world.
No.
But we all can. And when we all
Exactly.
love each other, we can change it. And deep down, we all do love each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right? And we've got to bring that love to the surface.
That is exactly true.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, Joe, we're going to let you go for now. Thank you for coming on the show once again. We will be in contact, obviously, later on, and then, of course, tomorrow we'll get your Twitter space out there, and obviously we'll be there as well. So,
yes.
So again, thank you for coming back to the show, and we'll definitely have you on.
No
after
problem.
These
Thank you guys for having me again.
No problem.
Yep.
Thank you so much for coming on, Joe, and you have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, a day.
Okay, thank
morning.
you. You guys too. I love you all.
All right.
All right.
I love you,
you.
Joe. All right, so that was Joe Chase. So, real quick, your thoughts on this episode?
You know, I think it was very intriguing, eye-opening. I mean, I can't wait to go to that
It was pretty
Twitter
amazing.
space.
The Twitter space is going to be... so that's where it all is going to start.
Yeah, they're going to talk about... they're going to talk about some experiences that other people hopefully are going to be able to come forward and share their experiences. Maybe they're going to get a group going that's going to be a little more comfortable about opening up to Joe and everyone else about their experiences, and then that group will later on transform into this meditation group.
The thing is Joe is correct. I think tonight's show has started the process of reaching out to these individuals that have had the same feelings that we described.
Yeah.
And that is, like I said, the first step.
Yep.
So,
and I mean, it can be anyone from a light worker to a star seed. It can be anyone from...
If you feel something different about the situation.
Yeah. I mean, even if
as simple as that.
Even if you've seen the paranormal or UFO, or even if you have seen orbs, that is all part of the spirit world. And that will help you later on down the line to understand why these things are happening to you, and you really need to check it out.
No, I fully agree.
Yep.
So we will definitely have more information on all of that on upcoming shows, and also on NTR Facebook, NTR Twitter, and of course, on NTR Daily, we'll give you updates as well.
Oh, yes.
But there was Joe Chase once again, and we will let everybody know on our sites when that Twitter space is going to begin tomorrow.
Yes, once again, an amazing show.
Yes, and Jennifer, you have something that you want to read, like an advertisement, I suppose, but it is what we are all about.
Yes. Okay, so...
Explain.
So what's going on is this gentleman reached out to me, and Biden is basically destroying his store. So here's what I'm going to talk to you about. Okay, this is his saying on one of his YouTube channels. Everything is upside down, inside out. White is the new black, and red is the new blue. Left is right, and right is left. That is so true. All right, so this comes from Paul Riley.
It's like a poem.
Yeah. So Paul Riley from Ohio, Georgetown.
Paul Riley.
Yes. And his store is called Patriot Shit Outfitters.
We're not joking. Patriot Shit Outfitters. Like,
yes.
Patriot shit, man.
Okay, so it was created in 2017, and it has been providing American-made Velcro patches with the highest quality for all conservative American patriots that enjoy watching the liberals squirm.
Woohoo!
All the patches can also be made custom, and they can be bought individual or even by wholesale.
Okay.
All the proceeds are used to feed and clothe Americans. $0 from the sale will ever make its way over to China or any other communist country.
Good.
Supporting PSO is supporting American families. You can go to patriotshit.com to
is
go
it literally
to their
shit?
online.
Is
yes,
it? Is that the website? Okay,
yes,
I just want to make sure.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You can also check out Paul Riley's YouTube channel where he talks about therapy range, where he'll actually talk to you about how to do, hacks with guns and stuff and shoot off guns, and it's just a
like training and such and therapeutic and what.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's youtube.com/C/therapy range.
Okay, well, thank you for that. You have anything else for us, Jennifer, before we ride away on our horses into the sunset on this Saturday night edition of Night Talks Radio?
Just, like I said, give that website a try and support the American patriots.
Sounds good to me. So we will have another show, of course, for you tomorrow. That is Sunday night, right here, same spot. But the only difference is that it will be a 9:05 p.m. Central Time start. So that's going to be 10:05 p.m. Eastern. So don't miss out on that. And, of course, Joe Chase and his Twitter space. This is Daniel Brewer, Night Talks Radio. We'll see you later. Bye-bye, folks. So, for Night Talks Radio, our very special guest, Joe Chase, our beautiful and intelligent co-host, Jennifer Gregerson, the voice of NTR Night Talks Radio, Kevin Robinson, LITM Media, Spreaker.com, and Art Bell, the pioneer of late night talk radio. And me, Daniel Brewer, saying until the next Night Talks Radio, stay safe and remember, they are listening. So long, everybody.